What up, y'all? It's your boy M-phamis, but you can call me M3Ball. Welcome back. Alright, since I just saw, Jurassic World Rebirth, I just saw the whole thing in theaters in 3D, and I'm telling you, it is a good movie. But since that movie came out, I think it would be a good idea for me to, recap and kind of, get my own, 2 cents and commentary on, all 6 of the Jurassic Park movies before, I actually, review Rebirth. So, like, share, subscribe, follow me on Instagram, check me out on DNR. The links to everything is down below. And guys, if you want my videos, before it ever hits YouTube, head over to my Patreon page. The link is in the description down below. Now let's begin. Alright, let's start with, the first Jurassic Park movie, man. The first Jurassic Park movie, bro, it was good for its time, man. The CGI, I'm just saying, watching, the original trilogy as a kid versus an adult, I'm gonna be honest with you, you can obviously tell, it's CGI now, but back then, I swear, back then, CGI technology, it was, revolutionary, man. I may be an artist and I do dabble in animation, but once it comes to 3D, not typically an expert, but I'm just saying, again, the CGI back then, at that time, was very extraordinary. But now, it just looks it's just cringy a little bit, you know? Or maybe because, well, I'm just so used to more realistic CGI that we got now. I mean, I've grown up with the original trilogy, man. Honestly, my favorite character, in the original trilogy, specifically in the first movie and all the way to the third, was Ian Malcolm, Jeff Goldblum. Jeff Goldblum, bro, he is a legend. I swear, he's the GOAT, man. Honestly, man, he had, the best line in the film. And not only that, I really just like the saying genetic power. That was pretty good, though. And I kind of do agree with him on, bringing, dinosaurs back to life. That was a dangerous idea because, there's so many, dangers in this whole thing. And the fact that, they're on an island called Isla Nublar. And in case you guys don't know, Isla means island, Nublar means the cloud. And the fact that, the reason why the whole thing fell apart was because of, the whole storm. The storm was the fatal flaw in the whole thing. And all that, the whole, Dennis Jeffrey kind of sabotaging the system, that was, played a factor as well. Hammond didn't bother to, factor those things into the equation. And also, he should have paid, the Dennis dude, the coding dude, more money to fix that stupid system. The score was written by a music composer by the name of John Williams. John Williams, composed, a lot of Steven Spielberg films, but not just, his movies. He actually, composed, the Superman, score for, the Superman movie back in the 70s with Christopher Reeves. This dude is a legend, and the fact that he's still, composing music, or I think he may be retired, but, he's still alive and kicking. He's, 93 years old now. In case you guys don't know or don't remember, Samuel L. Jackson actually did, make an appearance in that movie. He was, one of the coding guys, in, the whole, kind of, behind the scenes room, kind of, telling them, they had to, reboot the system, but he ended up dead. And all that, I kind of just, like the aspect of, Dr. Grant, Sam Neely's character, being a father figure, to Lex, and to, Tim, two kids, John Hammond's grandkids. Karma. What do you know? The ending with, the T-Rex, coming in and saving the day, that was magnificent, man. That gotta be, that gotta be, one of the best endings to movies back in the 90s, man. Another great quote from Jeff Goldblum's character, Dr. Malcolm, was that life finds a way. That was a good one. And life did find a way, because, the Raptors found a way to breed and stuff. That was a good plot twist. Okay, in the second Jurassic Park movie, it's mostly focusing on, Dr. and Malcolm, and, how, he's kind of, somewhat ridiculed, because he kind of, did write a book about, his time, in, the last movie, how he nearly died and everything else. He pretty much was called up by John Hammond, and pretty much, John Hammond told him that there was another island. It was called Site B, or sometimes called, Isla Sorna, and pretty much Hammond pretty much was, feeling, a little guilty, and felt, very regretful, and he pretty much changed his mind to, trying to, make a theme park out of dinosaurs. So he pretty much, had an idea to turn that whole place into, a whole wildlife reserve where no one can go anywhere near it. And he kind of just, send, a whole team down there to, document, everything about, dinosaurs in their own habitat. And, he kind of did, hire, Malcolm's girlfriend. John wanted him to, go down there. Pretty much, Malcolm agreed to go down there, but he's not going down there to, observe everything. He's trying to, get his girl out of there and get, everybody out there before, they end up dead. Originally, Michael Crichton, the guy who created, the first Jurassic Park, book. He didn't have, no intentions on, writing a second book. But after like seeing like how popular the first one was, like the first movie, he decided to go like, continue the story and wrote the second one. Okay, now Dr. and Malcolm having a kid, honestly though, that was honestly surprising though. I mean, back then I did not pay attention to that. I'm just saying like him having a kid. I mean, that was kind of like very surprising. I mean, rewatching it again. I mean, Jeff Goldblum really outdid himself on this one. I mean, he's still shocked about like everything that happened from like the first movie because he was like, oh no, like going back there, even if it was like just research or just observing a report, not interacting with the dinosaurs in any physical form. I mean, it's still risky nonetheless, though. Oh, by the way, because of like the events in the first movie, Hammond kind of like got kicked out of Engine, and his nephew kind of like took charge of the whole thing. And pretty much his plan was to like bring everything from like all the dinosaurs from his little newborn and try to like bring them to San Diego, but that kind of went south. Bro, this movie had like Vince Vaughn. Vince Vaughn was like very popular actor from the 2000s, man. He was in that movie Wedding Crashers with Owen Wilson. But yeah, he was in that movie though. Okay, one of my favorite scenes was like when Kelly, his daughter, pretty much like kicked like a raptor and killed it. Okay, that was pretty good though. And it kind of, I'm just saying, like, everything about, like, this film, it mostly, like, speaks, like, Ian Malcolm's character. At least we got, like, more details about him, honestly, though. And, like, him being a dad, and we see the type of dad he is. Like, Malcolm was, like, a very, like, like, he's there, but he's not really there. Meaning, like, he's, like, in, like, Kelly's wife, the daughter, but he's not, like, like, really bonding with her. I mean, the whole adventure itself kind of, like, helped him, like, connect with his daughter in a way. I like the John Hammond message, like, in the end of the movie. It was pretty good, though. Alright, when it comes to, like, the third movie, I'm gonna be honest with you, the third movie has, like, been, like, by most fans, it's not even considered, like, the best, like, out of all three of the original Jurassic Park movies, it's not really considered the best. Okay, pretty much the plot of this one was that, like, this one mostly focused on Alan Grant, and like the aftermath of the whole thing. Ellie ended up like having two kids, she's married. Alan and like Sarah kind of like still like have a thing for each other, kind of. Like it was very complicated. And they were like having a little chat about the dinosaurs and like how Alan discovered like the velociraptors were way more smarter and more intelligent than they probably have thought when they went to Jurassic Park the first time. Grant was working at this side with like this dude named Billy. Billy's this young ambitious guy who really is like very in tune with like technology and kind of was flirting with this girl kind of. Then Alan Grant kind of like gave like a little like lecture about like how dinosaurs are and about like the whole Jurassic Park. Someone did ask the question because of like InGen like brought back the dinosaurs, wouldn't it make like his profession pretty much pointless? Dr. Grant was pretty much like trying to like do his best to like defend like that archaeology, that paleontology is way better than like like studying like actual dinosaurs in our actual habitat because like again the ancient dinosaurs were like what was it, just nothing but freak monster experiments and that was it. Then a couple like met up with like Alan Grant and like Billy at the bar and pretty much they're like concerned parents telling them about like how they found like left their son at that island, but like what was it, like it's very dangerous and it's been there for weeks. They tried the government, but the government couldn't help. And what was it? They pretended to be rich people to like get Alan Grant to go and fund their jet site and all that stuff. They pretty much made it to the island and they pretty much encountered like a Spinosaurus. And by the way, the island that they're on, they're kind of on site B. And here's the question though: how come like Malcolm did not like encounter like the Spinosaurus in the second movie though? It makes no sense. And all that, like what was it? Like they like between Billy and Grant. Grant mentioned something like there's no Spinosaurus on Ingen's list, and Grant kind of pointed out the fact that it's not on their list. Some people speculated that the Spinosaurus in that movie is kind of a hybrid, or at least a first attempt at one. That was a very interesting take on that one. Anywho, they managed to find Eric. This kid managed to like survive for weeks, man. Eric managed to like give himself some dinosaur gene. Bro, like the movie never bothered to explain that part, but I want a dang explanation. How the heck did a kid manage to get a pee from a freaking T-Rex? Honestly though, that was smart to get T-Rex pee because one, the smaller dinosaurs, especially the raptors, they're less likely to mess with the T-Rex, honestly though. Okay, Grant was definitely like giving me like the whole Indiana Jones vibe. I'm just saying, bro, it's just a habit with me. The same with the pterodactyls, it's kind of like a reverse version of like the ending to the first movie. In the end of the first movie, like the pelicans, like what was it after like the movie was over in the first one? Like it symbolized that like everything was going back to normal, while like the third movie and the ending, bro, it kind of symbolizes that they're entering a new world where dinosaurs are gonna live with humans now. Again, was the opposite of like everything that happened. Okay, Jurassic World. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, like, the whole point of like Jurassic World is basically try to like recapture the magic of like the first Jurassic Park movie. The plot of the movie kind of like goes like shot for shot, like kind of like the original in a way, a little bit. By the way, like this park is kind of like located on like the first island in La Nublar. The park has pretty much been around like for like over a decade. Nothing bad and nothing serious have ever happened. And then knowing that in this version, like they plan to like, well, they create like a hybrid dinosaur, open up to the public. They called it the Indominus Rex. Pretty much a combination between a T-Rex and a Velociraptor. Two parents pretty much like send them off to Jurassic Park with their aunt. Their aunt pretty much like controlled like the whole park. She's the manager there. Her name's Claire. Pretty much to like distract them from like the fact that they're getting a divorce. Claire was kind of like the neglectful aunt. She hasn't like seen none of them like in the past like 7 years. By the way, the boys' names are Zach and Gray. Mr. Masrani. Engine was taken over by the Masrani Corporation. And pretty much like the dude that owned the place kind of like shows up like and check to see about like the Indominus Rex. And like pretty much like McCartney pretty much told Claire to get Owen. Owen was this like Navy dude who kind of works at Jurassic Park. He kind of just trained the Raptors, and like he managed to train the Raptors so well that they respond well to commands. And there was a dude named Hoskins. Hoskins' plan was to like train these dinosaurs to actually use them for military purpose. Now that was a very interesting take though. I mean, the fact that dinosaurs could be used for military, now that was a very interesting take on that one. Owen and Claire kind of like had like a little bit of a history. They kind of went on a date, but that kind of didn't work well. They went to the place where they went inside like the cage where the Indominus was at, and pretty much Owen was noticing that something was weird, really weird was going on. Because like that thing like was like marking up the walls, making it think that everyone escaped. People thought it escaped from it, but really it didn't. It just wanted people to think it was escaping, but then like the Indominus shows up and pretty much like kills some dude. Owen barely made it out there alive though. And then eventually like the Indominus race, then the Indominus managed to like get up out of there. And like everyone's panicking, everyone's freaking out. Owen tells everyone that like, hey, we need to evacuate the park right now. They pretty much like warned everyone about the park, like every ride was shut down. Zach and Gray were pretty much in the gyrosphere thing that pretty much was like going around the park and going like everyone has to like go back, and they kind of like end up in the woods, and they kind of met up with the Indominus. The Indominus managed to like take them out to a river, but they managed to survive. Owen and Claire pretty much like went to like outside to like try to find them. The Indominus was wreaking havoc. Eventually like the kids met up with like Owen and Claire, and we had like a little epic final fight between like the Indominus, the T-Rex, and like the Raptor. The Mosasaurus managed to like eat like the Indominus Rex and pretty much took it under the water. In my honest opinion, I think Owen is kind of like a combination between like Alan Grant and pretty much Ian Malcolm at the same time, but a lot more cooler on Kingdom. Okay, so we kind of got like a little bit of like video footage of like everything that happened in the last movie, and pretty much like ever since that happened, there was like a volcano on Isla Nublar that kind of was like active that whole time, and like Senate was pretty much like debating like should we kill the dinosaur or not. Then we got like a little cameo from like Ian Malcolm, and pretty much like he told us that like we should let the dinosaurs die because like the world's not ready for cataclysmic change. Man-made cataclysmic change, and like changes like death, you don't know what it's like to like see it like standing right in front of your face. The guys working for InGen, the Masrani Corporation, what was it? They pretty much like went underwater to like get like the bones from like the Indominus Rex. Ever since what happened in the last movie, Jurassic World, Claire has been like being like an activist, trying to like get people to like care and try to like save all the dinosaurs before like that volcano erupts. Eventually she kind of got like the call from like Ben Lockwood. Ben Lockwood was pretty much like the co-founder of Jurassic Park. He co-founded with Hammond years ago. Then there was this dude named Mills who works for him, kind of like making some business decisions while like Lockwood is like taking his medicine because he's very old and stuff. Mills told Claire like they were planning to like get like all the dinosaurs from this Nublar, especially Blue, because Blue's the last of her kind and she's very special. Claire did like go to like Owen and pretty much they were chatting it up in the bar, and pretty much like Owen said, nah, I'm not going. Let the dinosaurs die. Let Blue die. But then he kind of like ended up changing his mind because he watched like a little video of him like training the Raptors and bonding with them. They made it back to Isla Nublar. The plan was to like go to the command center, pretty much turn up all the tracking ships so that way they can like find all the dinosaurs. They kind of meet up with like some InGen mercenary who kind of like takes pleasure in like taking the teeth out of like dinosaurs. Eventually like they found Blue, and like Blue ended up getting shot. but she managed to get like a little blood transfusion from like a T-Rex. Eventually, like we meet up at like Lockwood's estate in the basement. Pretty much Mills and like Dr. Henry Wu was planning to like use all the last remaining dinosaurs from his Nublar to pretty much sell them. Dr. Wu and Mills pretty much was like working in like the lab to like create the Indoraptor, pretty much an improved version of like the Indominus Rex. Eventually we got like introduced to this little girl named Maisie. Maisie is like Lockwood's granddaughter, but it turns out like she's also a clone of Lockwood's daughter. And by the way, Mills killed Lockwood. Claire and Owen were definitely like feeling. Claire and Owen managed to like get like some dinosaurs to like break down like their cage and pretty much like free all the other dinosaurs. The Indoraptor ended up getting loose and pretty much like they had to like run them from like Indoraptor. But they managed to get saved by Blue. Blue pretty much ran in the woods, disappeared forever. Okay, got a couple questions. How was Henry Wu not dead after like all the events from the other Jurassic Park movies? Just how? And also, man, Jeff Goldblum, bro, he is the GOAT, bro. I say, like, I'm just saying, everything about Dominion is just crazy, though. So pretty much, like, after, like, everything happened in Fallen Kingdom, pretty much, like, Maisie, Owen, and Claire pretty much have been going on the run. Pretty much living in the cabins in the woods, living together and kind of like trying to raise Maisie like a family. A very cute family, to be honest. Maisie is like in her teenage stage where she just like, wants to sneak out. She always keeps sneaking out of town, and Owen and them are trying their best to like, like tell her that it's not safe, and knowing that people are still looking for her. Then we got like a little moment with Blue. Turns out Blue can like, they have a kid of her own, because like, they kind of like filled her DNA with some sort of lizard DNA. They can reproduce without a mate. Claire just like came back from like busting like some breeding farms with some triceratops, and like her friend Franklin from Fallen Kingdom pretty much told her like you can't do like this anymore, and he got like a real job at the CIA because like almost everyone from Jurassic World kind of got recruited in the CIA because of like their experience with dinosaurs and everything else. The people that like mostly like have all the dinosaurs right now, I mean, they're called Biosin, pretty much like a rival to Engine, and it was led by the dude named Dodson. He kind of was like in the first Jurassic Park movie, who was like trying to like pay Dennis Nedry to like, get all like the embryos from the dinosaurs in the first movie, and somehow he got them somehow. Anywho, Biosin pretty much like sent bounty hunters to like try to capture Maisie and Blue's daughter somewhere around like in Texas. Like kids that were out there like doing farm chores, and like they saw a locust and they saw like a swarm of them. They headed to the barn. One of the locusts managed to break in, and they kind of like they managed to capture the locust. They called like Dr. Alice Settler to get like a better explanation of what that thing was. All the locusts were eating like all of their crops, except for her bison seeds. So Ellie pretty much like went over to Utah to like, say hey to Grant, kind of catch up for a minute, and pretty much told him about the locusts, and told him that they kind of need to go to like Biosin's like sanctuary, because Biosin's the only place where like all of the dinosaurs were at. At first, Grant was very reluctant, obviously, because hello, he's going back to like, deal with the dinosaurs again. But Ellie pointed out the fact that if those locusts like still keep multiplying, there's gonna be like a worldwide famine. Malcolm pretty much invited like Grant and Sadler over there. Eventually, like those bounty hunter guys, like they found Maisie and like kidnapped her and like Blue's daughter. Owen promised Blue that like he's gonna like go get like her and Blue's daughter. Johnson like had like the whole thing set up in the first place because they kind of need Maisie's DNA to like cure, kind of like kill the locusts and destroy them all. Honestly though, that was like a really good premise by the way. Owen and Claire finally like catch up with Maisie. Grant, Settler, and Malcolm pretty much like got reunited. And only that Tucker and Malcolm's like, the lecture scene was like the most dopest scene ever, in my opinion. Anywho, Dodson got what's coming to him. Blue managed to like defeat like all like the locusts and like kill them all. Blue got her baby back, and that was the end. One thing I like is like I like how Dr. Ian Malcolm kind of like called out like the fact that Dr. Wu was kind of like responsible for like all them chaos and mayhem about the dinosaurs. It kind of was his fault, and it is. And I'm surprised that Dr. Wu is still alive after that. Heck, if you guys are not gonna kill him, you might as well just like, I don't know, like put him in jail or something. Like let him go to jail. Let him pay for his crimes, man. Also, I wanted to say it's about time that Grant and Sadler finally like got together. Like seriously, they shouldn't have gotten together like at the end of like the first movie, man. I'm just saying there were so many hints and nods that the two were actually a thing. But I feel like it was worth the wait though. It really was worth the wait after like, 30 years? In conclusion, the original Jurassic Park trilogy was like, bro, nothing could ever beat the original, man. Especially like the first movie. The first movie was spectacular though. I mean, it's still like a beloved classic. it's still good, like, it still holds up after 30 years, man. I mean, the new Jurassic World trilogy, honestly, man, it kind of like tries to like recapture like the magic. And honestly, man, there was so many Easter egg references from that movie, man. I'm just saying, like, it referenced every little detail from like the first movie all the way to the second one. I mean, I don't want to get into it because like there's so many Easter eggs, and your boy need to like hurry up and wrap it up so that way I can like recap like Jurassic World Rebirth. So, like, share, and subscribe, follow me on Instagram, check me out on DNR. Links to everything down below. And guys, if you want to get my videos like before they ever hit YouTube, head over to my Patreon page. The link is in the description down below. Life finds a way.